My name is Timothy Rexford Wilson. In 2002, I left corporate America to hike the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico up to Canada through California, Oregon, and Washington. I thought that was going to be a vacation, a chance to get away and collect my thoughts. Instead, it became a spiritual reawakening. During that time, I had the chance to talk with many people. And when we talked about the direction the world is headed, we concluded we're headed towards pollution, war, and debt. The world we want to create is a healthy world of sustainable peace and prosperity. Toward that end, I've written a book called American Transformation, and I'm forming an organization called American Transformation to help us find ways to build this new world, this healthy world of sustainable peace and prosperity. Thank you. Well, my name is Timothy Rexford Wilson, and I'm a private citizen conducting an independent campaign for the United States presidency. It's a write-in campaign, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to take the country in a different direction. I want to offer people the choice to take the country in a different direction. That choice is a healthier world with sustainable peace and prosperity, and what's happened in the last 4 years and even in the last 25 has been, in my opinion, pollution, war, and debt. And pollution, war, and debt is a long ways from the kind of world I want to hand on to my kids.
Well, I can tell you that he's unfailingly honest, and he is always kind. The thing that I think surprises most people, and surprised me the first time I found this out, was that he, underneath the sort of friendly exterior, is really a spine of steel. I mean, once Tim makes up his mind about something, that's the way it's going to be. And he's flexible about the way that you see that, but that's the way it is, and that's his stand, and that he does take a stand. And it's not getting up and screaming, it's not getting up and pounding podiums, it's not getting up and you know, upsetting people or saying inflammatory things about other people. It's just a quiet knowing that this is what I stand for, and no matter what anyone else stands for, this is what it is. It's a healthy world of sustainable peace and prosperity, and we're going to be happily pursuing that for the rest of our lives. What I love most about Tim is that he's never been afraid to change. You know, he would work in corporate America and then leave to walk a trail, and then go back and do something else and then leave to walk a trail, and then write a book and then work in a juice bar. I mean, that he's just very flexible, and there's no judgments about what kind of work you do. And since I have also lived my life making changes every few years, it was wonderful to find someone else that I felt like I could go on that journey with.
Well, one of our hobbies is winemaking, and we're making wine for our wedding in October. So today we'll be featuring maple wine, where we've collected maple sap from some trees, and we've boiled it down to a certain point, a specific gravity, and where we've added yeast. And then part of the winemaking process is every couple of weeks you move it from its existing vat to a new vat to kind of get out the sediment.
He supports me in ways that I didn't even know I needed to be supported. And he sees me, and he wants the best for me no matter what that means. And I just couldn't ask for a better partner.
I've been here about a year. I moved up to Maine a year ago December after walking the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico to Canada through California, Oregon, and Washington. And that was a wonderful experience. It allowed me to meet people from all different walks of life. I met ranchers, environmentalists, I met attorneys, I met a volunteer for Ted Turner's UN Foundation, and we had a chance to discuss what the world looked like today, where we were headed, and what we could do to change it. I've walked the Appalachian Trail from Georgia up to Maine. I've walked the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico to Canada. Even at home, I go out and walk most mornings. So it's just I like to walk. Walking, there's something about walking that helps a thinking process. It helps people progress. The other thing about it is that it's intimate. When you're walking, you cannot separate yourself from your environment or the people around you, the people that you meet. It's not like driving in your car, passing by, even on a bicycle. You're very interconnected with everything around you when you're walking. So even a short walk for me is transformational. If you can live very well for a very short period of time in an unsustainable way. I mean, as an example, you can just run up your credit cards and have a great life for a few months until the bills come due. And that's what we're doing on a national basis, is we're running up the national credit cards, the national debt, to live in a way that is not sustainable. And that is not fair, however, to future generations of Americans that are going to have to pay the bills. So right now we have an unjust system where we are living well, but future generations are going to bear the burden for the way we're living. So I'm committed to building a sustainable system that gets better generation after generation after generation. We can take our health, for example. It has been, or one would hope, that each generation of Americans would be getting successively healthier. That if our health policy was working, we'd be getting healthier. But we're not getting healthier. Our kids, the obesity rate among our children has doubled over the last 40 years. So the way we're behaving and the choices we're making are not promoting health. And our government is not pushing policy or passing policy that promotes our health. As an example, we release mercury into the environment when we know mercury causes birth defects. We add saturated fat to our beef, even though we know that will give us heart disease. It's good for short-term profits, but over time it makes the American people less healthy. So it's not sustainable. Well, the key element or the key thing that any government provides is justice. And that is the choice. That the government and legislature, the legislative and executive branches, should provide the system of laws, and then they should be enforced by the judicial branch. So, what does that mean? Individual freedoms are important, yes. Business freedoms are important, yes. But not if they're unjust, either to current generation or to future generations. So if you say, hey, let's do mountaintop mining, where we cut off a mountaintop for the coal, well, that's very good for a current generation or business to get that energy, but future generations will never be able to enjoy that mountain or the coal that was taken, or even the water in the valleys that gets destroyed. So the key thing is justice and balance. And what I'm trying to do is to help create that system, or adjust to make the system more fair. Then it's a systemic fix as opposed to regulating specific behaviors. So I'm trying to give small and mid-sized businesses tools to deal with large corporate power. I'm trying to create a system that discourages concentrations of economic power that are so large that they can affect our political process. Today we're conducting a war on terror we're fighting on a physical plane. We're trying to shoot our way to success, and I don't think that the war on terror can be won that way. I think the only way we can win the war on terror is by becoming the source of justice in this world. That terrorism is the physical manifestation of a spiritual problem, which is injustice, and whether it's real or perceived injustice, we have to address that injustice in order to reduce terrorism and to win the war on terror. So what I'm proposing is a Department of International Justice that will expand justice around the world, and that will create the environment for peace. But change will only take you so far. That there are certain points where you need something to metamorphosize from from a current reality to something totally different, a totally different direction, and that's a transformational shift. So what I'm trying to do is to create that shift in governmental and economic terms, and political and economic terms. Not what the situation we have today with pollution, war, and debt simply can't be reformed or incrementally changed to create the kind of world I'm interested in building or in leading us towards. So what is required is a total transformation. If we can complete this shift in one presidential term, we can completely transform what America is today. We can be headed towards a road of peace and prosperity.